once again, welcome back to chemistry class, children. This is Satish Kumar, your chemistry faculty. And today we are going to discuss about two more chemical bonds, children. Already yesterday I have given a coordinate covalent bond, but I told you to, I will explain one best example for coordinate covalent bond. That is, I am going to show you. So here I am going to show you, children. Ready with pen and notebook, then you will get clearly. So here I am going to give you. Yes. So before starting the class, my dear children, I want to tell you a best quotation about our character. So many times I observed that word from the students. What is the meaning of character? Attitude. So that student is having good attitude. That boy, that girl is having good character. So what is the meaning of attitude and character? So my dear children, I am going to give you a small quotation on the character. Observe carefully. So just I am going to write that point on the screen, then you will feel better. That is about character. What is character? If anybody asks, character is doing right thing. Character is doing right thing when nobody is looking. Very, very important, children. Character is important in every student life, in every human life. If we not have the character, we are worst. So character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. We have a habit. If our friends are not looking us, if our mother is not looking us, if father is not looking us, we will do small mistakes. So that is not correct. So to understand this, I am going to give you a small story. You know very well C.V. Raman. He is the famous physics scientist. He want 10 students, 10 members to work in his laboratory. So C.V. Raman has given advertisement, and 10 students has come to C.V. Raman to work in his presence. So C.V. Raman kept exam for the 10 students. So 8 members passed. 8 members passed in the exam, and 2 members failed. So C.V. Raman announced that the students, those who are coming to work here, I will pay the bus ticket fare also to go back to their home. So for passed 8 members and failed 2 members purpose, the C.V. Raman clerk paid bus fares. So all the students went to their home, but one student was waiting to meet C.V. Raman again, because C.V. Raman is noble person, so very great person in the world. So that failed student want to meet again C.V. Raman. So C.V. Raman came out from the office and he observed that failed person. Why are you waiting, boy? Already I told you, you have failed in the mathematics or physics. So improve your subject and come next year, we will give you job. Like that C.V. Raman told to failed student. But the failed student told to the C.V. Raman, sir, you are the noble person, familiar person. I want to talk with you. I want to meet you, sir. That's what I have been waiting here, like that. But C.V. Raman told, I have work now. I am going outside. You will wait for 1 hour, like that. So the failed person waited for 1 hour, and the C.V. Raman has given chance to the failed person to meet him. So the failed person sit along with the C.V. Raman, and the failed person kept 10 rupees on the table. C.V. Raman got, he didn't understand. C.V. Raman got shocked. Why you are giving 10 rupees to me? C.V. Raman asked. And the failed person told, sir, you have paid me bus fare. So I was calculating that to go my village, I need only 90 rupees, sir. But your clerk has given me 100 rupees, sir. So the 10 rupees, the extra 10 rupees is not belongs to me. The 10 rupees should go back to you. So that's what I want to give the 10 rupees to you, sir. Immediately, the C.V. Raman got good impression on the failed person. And C.V. Raman called that clerk, my dear clerk, come here. Immediately give job to this person. C.V. Raman told to the clerk. And the clerk shocked. Sir, this boy failed in mathematics. So how can we give? Already you send him to back. Already you send him to home. How will you give the job? And the C.V. Raman told to the clerk, my dear clerk, my dear brother, my dear clerk brother, he failed in exam, but he passed in character. He passed in attitude. So that's what I am giving job to him. Please take him into laboratory. So my dear children, when we behave truthful, automatically we will get good opportunities in our life. If we behave like thieves, we will not get a good life. So that is the very important quotation. Character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. That failed person got 10 rupees extra. He used to go with that extra 10 rupees outside and he used to eat something. But the failed person didn't do like that. That is called good character. To understand the meaning, children, character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. I hope you got the point. So from today onwards, you have to grow with good character and good attitude. And now I am going to enter into class, my dear children. Yesterday, I have given very familiar bond, a special type of chemical bond, that is coordinate covalent bond. So before going to discuss, I got a chat box wishing messages. Good morning, good morning. Okay, no problem. Yeah, ready with pen and paper. So coordinate covalent bond. First point, what? It is a special type of covalent bond. Special type of covalent bond. So in this coordinate covalent bond, what will happen? One atom only donates 2 electrons. One atom only donates 2 electrons to another atom. The covalent bond, which is formed by sharing of 2 electrons from one atom to another atom, then that is called a coordinate covalent bond. Yesterday, I have given many examples. You can see, I am writing again equation. NH3 ammonia is reacting with H plus ion, that is having empty orbital. So that empty orbital filled with these 2 electrons. So you are going to get NH4 plus. Yesterday I have told you the NH4 we can write like this. The NH4 we can write like this. So the coordinate covalent bond you must show with arrow mark, my dear children. Arrow mark. So this is the arrow mark from donor to acceptor. The head towards the acceptor, the tail towards the donor. So in the coordinate covalent bond, donor atom should be present and acceptor atom also should be present. So this NH3 is called donor and this H plus is called acceptor. Donor should have compulsory lone pair. Donor should have compulsory lone pair. See, on the nitrogen, lone pair is present in ammonia. And acceptor should have compulsory empty orbital. Empty. Acceptor should have compulsory empty orbital. That is the meaning of coordinate covalent bond. And one more point I want to tell you, children. This donor ammonia is called, in the coordinate covalent bond, which is donating electron pair, that is called Lewis base. The coordinate covalent bond, one atom should donate electron pair to others. So that is called a Lewis base. Lewis is the scientist name. He has defined base, electron pair donor. Lewis given definition for base, that is electron pair donor, is called Lewis base. Then what is Lewis acid? Yeah, this only acceptor, which is accepting the electron. The element, the substance which is accepting the electron pair, that is Lewis acid. H plus is Lewis acid. So you got Lewis base and Lewis acid in the coordinate covalent bond. Yesterday, one more example also, this H2O, water, and the oxygen, two lone pairs are there. So it can react with H plus, empty orbital is there. Then you are going to get H3O plus, and here as is one lone pair. From two lone pairs, one lone pair has joined in H plus, S orbital. So this is called NH4 plus is called ammonium, and H3O plus called hydroxonium. Hydroxonium. Yeah, here I got a question. Just give me. Very good. Acceptor is Lewis acid. Yeah, excellent. Some students are giving answers. Yeah, my dear Mahit, what happened?
So H plus is Lewis acid, no, sir?
Yeah, very good. Lewis acid, yeah.
Hydrogen is not an acid, no, sir?
I'm not talking about hydrogen. I'm talking about H plus, hydronium ion.
Yes, sir. H plus is not a acid, no, sir?
Lewis acid. I'm talking about Lewis acid. What is the meaning of Lewis acid? Electron pair acceptor. H plus accept the electron pair because it is having empty orbital. One is 0. So it can take 2 electrons. So any substance accept one electron pair, that is called Lewis acid. Don't depend on, sir, that is not sour to taste. And if base means that is not bitter to taste. We have acids and bases purpose, 3 or 4 definitions. I'll give you that. Yeah, very good. And one more example I am going to show you, children, that is very important. And in the competitive examination also, that question is coming. So I am going to show you this example. So this is ammonia, NH3, and this is boron trifluoride. This is boron trifluoride. You can see, I will write on the screen. Now you will feel better. See, ammonia having structure like this. You can see one lone pair, 3 bond pairs. Is one bond pair, second bond pair, 3 bond pairs. 3 bond pairs, 3 BP, nothing but 6 electrons. One lone pair, 2 electrons, total 8 electrons. So if you take ammonia, the nitrogen is getting octet configuration. And as well as the hydrogen is getting helium configuration. You see, the bond is going towards hydrogen, for example. So helium configuration. But when you come to the BF3, boron trifluoride, you see boron, 1 fluorine, 2nd fluorine, 3rd fluorine. So here, how many bonds you are observing around the boron? 3 bond pairs. 3 bond pairs, nothing but 6 electrons. 6 electrons. It is not having lone pair. The central boron atom is not having lone pair. So the boron didn't get octet configuration in the BF3. So that is why the BF3 is having empty orbital. In the BF3, the boron, in the boron trifluoride, the boron is having empty orbital. That is why that boron trifluoride is reacting with the ammonia, and from the ammonia, the nitrogen is donating electron pair to boron empty orbital. Anybody ask you, how you are telling the boron trifluoride is acceptor? Ammonia is donor. Very good. And the nitrogen lone pair is there. You are observing. But how you are telling boron trifluoride is acceptor? The answer is, sir, this is the boron trifluoride structure. Around the boron, we are observing only 3 bonds, sir. 3 bonds, nothing but 6 electrons. So it is not having octet configuration. To get octet configuration, it requires 2 electrons. That is why in the boron trifluoride, the boron is having empty orbital. So that boron empty orbital filled with nitrogen 2 electrons in ammonia. So finally, you are going to get NH3. You will get like this bond, BF3. So arrow mark, the head towards acceptor, the tail towards, this is the tail, this is the head. So the head towards always acceptor, the tail towards always donor. Yeah, here I got a point already. Srinija, what happened?
Sir, if nitrogen gives one lone pair to boron, then nitrogen don't get the octet configuration.
Yeah, this is already special type of covalent bond. This bond will be used for nitrogen and boron trifluoride. Are you getting my point? Nitrogen is sharing
Yes,
2 electrons. Sharing only, not transferring totally. Very good doubt, Srinija. You asked that. You are observing a bond here. See, like this. Clearly observe. For example, this is. So this is arrow mark. This arrow mark, nothing but it is coordinate covalent bond, which is equal to 2 electrons. This bond utilized by nitrogen and boron. So that is the meaning of coordinate covalent bond. So the bond utilized by 2 atoms, nitrogen and as well as boron. Here you have to understand which is the donor, which is acceptor. So I hope you got it. And the next.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. And here, one more point I am going to give you. So my dear children, you got ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate covalent bond. But I told you coordinate covalent bond is 2 center 2 electron bond. What is the meaning of 2 center 2 electron bond? You have observed NH3 and boron trifluoride example. In the boron trifluoride, the boron is having a empty orbital. Empty orbital. So boron is an atom. Boron is an atom. It is having a nucleus. You know very well. Boron atomic number 5. It has atomic number 5 and 5 electrons. So in the boron, nucleus is present. And as well as nitrogen also having nucleus. So nucleus, another name is center. So how many centers are involving in the coordinate covalent bond? 2 centers. It is the first center and it is the second center. Nitrogen having nucleus, boron having nucleus. Nitrogen and boron both are involving in coordinate covalent bond process. So that is why I am calling 2 centers. Then why I am calling 2 electrons? Nitrogen is donating. Nitrogen is sharing 2 electrons to the boron. That is why I am calling 2 electrons. So 2 center 2 electron bond is called coordinate covalent bond. The reason is from the ammonia, the nitrogen is behaving donor and the boron is behaving acceptor. Both are having nucleus. Nitrogen having nucleus, boron having nucleus. So how many nucleus? 2 nucleus. Nucleus, another name is center. So 2 center and the nitrogen is sharing the 2 electrons. That is why I am calling 2 electrons. So 2 center 2 electron bond, anotherly called a coordinate covalent bond. I hope you got the point. And next, characteristics of ionic compounds. Ionic compounds, characters. Yeah. Who's this? iPhone. Just turn off your mic. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I am going to give you characters of ionic compounds. You know very well. Ionic compound, nothing but that is having ionic bond. NaCl is ionic compound. MgCl2, magnesium chloride is ionic compound. CaCl2, calcium chloride is ionic compound. These all formulas are having ionic bond. Sodium is metal, magnesium is metal, calcium is metal, and chlorine is non-metal. So in between the metal and non-metal, electron transfer takes place and you will get ionic compounds. But how the ionic compounds look like? What are the characters of ionic compounds? That is important. So first point, all ionic compounds form crystals. So what is the meaning of crystal? Sugar particle. After the class, just take the sugar particle and observe. That is called crystalline structure. For example, when unfortunately the glass has broken, you are going to get a small piece that is called crystal. And my dear children, all ionic compounds are having high melting point and boiling points. High melting point and boiling point. So what is the meaning of melting point and boiling point? Can anybody tell? Melting point and boiling point. All ionic compounds are having melting point and boiling point. Yeah, very good. Somit Raj.
Sir, melting point means in which degree Celsius the item will melt. Boiling point means at which time the water vapors will get up.
Very good, very good. Wonderful, Somitra. Your answer is correct. You have to tell like this. When a solid converts into liquid at a particular temperature, that is called a melting point. And when a liquid turns into vapors on heating at a particular temperature, that is called boiling point. So melting point always for solids. Boiling point always for liquids. I am writing melting point always for solids, MPS. Boiling point always for liquids. So all ionic compounds are having the high melting point and boiling point. So what is the reason, sir? Why high melting point and boiling point, sir? You may ask. My dear children, all ionic compounds are having the cation and anions. When you observe the all ionic compounds, you will get metallic cation, non-metallic anion. So in between the plus and minus, strong attractions are present. So to break the attractions, we need high amount of heat energy. So that is why all ionic compounds are having high melting point and boiling point. I will tell you, sodium chloride available at your home, the melting point of sodium chloride is nearly 800 degrees Celsius. We are not bearing the 50 degrees in summer. Human beings are not bearing 50 degrees. Always we used to start the AC. See, the sodium chloride melting point is nearly 800 degrees Celsius. And as well as the sodium chloride, same sodium chloride boiling point. The solid first of all convert into liquid. Then the liquid convert into gas on heating. So same sodium chloride boiling point is 1465 degrees Celsius nearly. My dear children, you can think how strong the ionic bond. How strong the ionic bond. Yeah, very good. And ionic compounds are hard and brittle. They have higher enthalpy of fusion and vaporization and molecule compounds. Nothing but to break the ionic compounds, we need a high amount of heat energy. And ionic compounds conduct electricity when dissolved in water. Very important point. Pure sodium chloride. You are taking sodium chloride and you are giving electricity to it. It cannot pass. You must add sodium chloride into water. Then in the water, the sodium chloride classified into Na plus Cl minus. Then the electricity pass. So you can call aqueous ionic solutions. Aqueous ionic compound shows electricity. Aqueous ionic compounds pass electricity, but not pure ionic compounds. You are taking sodium chloride salt and you are taking sodium chloride salt in water. So which will pass electricity? Sodium chloride salt in water pass the electricity. Because when you add sodium chloride in water, the sodium chloride dissociated into Na plus Cl minus. So where the free ions, there the electricity. Where the free ions, there the electricity. So you are understanding that all ionic compounds are strong solids. And next, covalent compounds. Definitely I will start metallic bond. Don't worry about that. Next, covalent compound characters. Cl2, F2, O2, N2, and H2. These all are the non-polar covalent compounds. And HF, hydrofluoric acid, HCl, hydrochloric acid, H2O, water, NH3, ammonia. These all are polar covalent compounds. So the first box is non-polar covalent examples, non-polar covalent bond examples, and this is polar covalent bond examples. Okay, sir. You told ionic compounds are solids. What about covalent compounds, sir? Whether that polar or non-polar, how the covalent compounds available in the nature? My dear children, these covalent compounds available as solids, liquids, and gases. Very, 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 very important. All covalent compounds are maximum available soft solids. Soft solids, either liquid. I will tell you, liquid is water. Covalent compound. Water is covalent compound that available as liquid. And oxygen also covalent compound that is available as gas. And solid, soft solid. What is the meaning of soft solid? A powdery like substance. Paraffin wax, which is made up with carbon and hydrogen, that is covalent only. Paraffin wax is a covalent compound, candle wax, that available as soft solids. So the covalent compounds available, soft solids, liquids, and gas. But ionic compounds available only as strong solids. And these covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity in presence of water. But these covalent compounds, in presence of water also, they do not conduct electricity. Covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity because no free ions. Very important reason why the covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity. The reason is in the covalent compounds, free ions are not there. That is why free electrons are not there. That is why the covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity. Some examples are there, sir. HC, HF, HCl, H2O. These are partial ionic compounds. When you add water, it will dissociate. So especially polar compounds, polar covalent compounds can conduct electricity in presence of water. But these non-polar covalent compounds do not conduct electricity. Non-polar covalent compounds are bad conductor of electricity. And one more point I am going to tell you, children. All plastics comes under especially covalent compounds. Plastics are covalent compounds only. And very important point, ionic bond is directionless bond. Ionic bond not having direction. But covalent bond is having a direction. So covalent bond is directional bond. You have seen like this, Cl single bond Cl. This is called direction. Oxygen double bond oxygen. Nitrogen triple bond nitrogen. So covalent bonds having a direction, but ionic bond is not having a direction. So in your examination, they will ask you which bond is a directional bond. The answer is covalent bond is directional bond. You are getting bonds in between the atoms in hydrogen, in chlorine, in oxygen, in nitrogen. Yeah, very good. Brittle means easy to break. The solid easy to break means we can call brittle. Sir, NaCl also powdery substance. If you keenly observe that, you will get a small crystalline structure, not powdery like structure. Take the chapati powder and sodium chloride crystal. You will get the difference. Chapati powder is not crystal, amorphous, but sodium chloride is crystal. So next, one student asked me that metallic bond. Now you are going to get third bond, that is a metallic bond. So what is the meaning of metallic bond? Third type of ionic bond over, covalent bond over, next metallic bond. Sir, what is the meaning of metallic bond? Yes, here one student, iPhone, raised hand. What is your name? Change your name. Don't keep like mobile name or any other. Yeah, who is this? If you have any doubt, you can ask. Yes, very good. About our topic is, yeah, what happened? My dear iPhone student, you can talk. Okay, no problem. So I am going to give you the screen. Just give me 1 second. A metallic bond. Good pictorial presentation is there. You will get now. Just 1 second, children. I'm going to take that. You will get it in 2 seconds. So where is that? Here, the metallic bond. Full screen I am going to give you. Yeah, this is our metallic bond. What is metallic bond? Metallic bond, nothing but when you take a metal element, this is the metal element. For example, I have taken sodium. So all sodium atoms only present in the sodium element. The big box is sodium element, my dear children. So the sodium element is having the small particles are called sodium atoms. So the bond which is present, valency electrons of the metal and as well as metal cation. You are observing here electron and here this is the metal cation. So metallic bond always present in between the metal atoms. This is the metallic element, children. Inside the element you have atoms. But how one metal atom strongly attracted with another metal atom? Every metal atom is having valency electrons. So the first metal valency electron attracted towards the second metal nucleus. And the second metal valency electron attracted towards first metal nucleus. Nothing but in the metallic bond, each metal atom leave the valency electrons like this. See, this is the one metal atom, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9. So every metal atom released valency electrons. Every metal atom released the valency electron from it. So the valency electrons of each metal atom freely moves in between the metallic cations. So metallic bond nothing but just I am going to give you the definition, children. Here the definition you are going to get very clearly. You can see when metals bond with other metals, their valence electrons become delocalized. Delocalize nothing but the valence electrons of the metal freely move here and there in the metal element structure. And just give me 1 second. Yeah. What is the meaning of delocalization? The valency electrons of the metal moving like this. So these are the valency electrons. These are the valency electrons. I have taken here copper. Copper is having a 2 valency electrons, for example. So that valency electrons of copper atoms freely moving. This is total copper element. So you have many copper atoms. Each copper atom is giving 2 electrons, for example, valency electrons. That valency electrons of copper atoms moving in between them. So from this point, I can tell the metals are having 3 electrons. One student asked me that, sir, you told me that in the metallic element, this is the metallic element, sir, each metal atom is leaving the valency electrons. Why the metal is leaving valency electrons, sir? My dear children, on the valency electron, this is the copper, nucleus is present, the nucleus attraction on the valency electron very less. That is why the atom, the metal atom is leaving the valency electron. That valency electron freely moving in between the in between the metal atoms like this. So due to free electrons in the metals behaves as good conductors of electricity. Good conductors of electricity. Always you will get point in the physics and chemistry. Metals are good conductors of electricity. Why? The metals are having the free electrons. Here I have given another point. Valence electrons do not belong to any one atom. In the metal element, you will get thousands of atoms. But the valency electrons not belongs to any atom in the metallic bond. So just remember, metallic bond nothing but in between the metal atoms, attractions are present. That attractions are called metallic bonding attraction. I will tell you a small point. This is sodium metal and this is another sodium metal atom. These 2 sodium metallic atoms are present in sodium element. Here one free electron. Here one free electron. Sodium is leaving one free electron. This electron attracted towards first sodium and this electron attracted towards second sodium. So like that, strong attraction forces are present in between the metal atoms. So I hope you got the point. And due to free electrons, the metals are behaving as good conductors of electricity. Here I got full of chat box. Just I am observing. Yeah. Very good. Mrunal Sai asked that once more. Mrunal Sai, take a metallic element. So this is the metallic element. Many atoms are there, metallic atoms. So in between the metallic atoms, attractions are present. That attractions are called metallic bond. When you take a metal element, you will get many metal atoms. In between the metal atoms, strong attractions are present. That attractions are called metallic bond. So how the metallic bond is formed? Each metal atom is leaving its valency electrons. So that valency electrons are freely moving in between the metal ions. So electron charge is minus and metal ion charge is plus. So how the attractions are present, I told you. This is the first atom. This is the first atom, for example. This first atom valency electron attracted with the second atom nucleus. And the second atom valency electron attracted with the first metallic atom nucleus. So the concept is already the attractions are there in between the positive metal cation and negative valency electron. I hope you got it. And the last point, metal shows sonority property, sonorous, malleability, and ductility. Can anyone tell what is the meaning of sonorous and malleable and ductility? Metals are sonorous, metals are malleable, metals are ductile. Oh my God. Yeah, Maniharini. Can you tell Maniharini these three properties?
So, sonorous means sound.
Very good.
Malleable means they can convert into sheets.
Excellent.
Brittle means they can convert into.
Very good. Ductility is nothing but that will be converted into wires. So all metals are having especially these properties: sonorous, malleable, ductile. Sonorous means when a metallic plate when the metallic plate hits the earth, you will get a ringing like sound. And you can convert the hard metal into sheets, aluminum sheets, iron sheets. And you can convert the hard metal into wires, copper wires in the electric circuit we are using. So due to the metallic bonding, due to the free electrons in the metals are sonorous, malleable, ductility. What is the use of metallic bond? Someone will ask you. Sir, due to the metallic bond only, the metals are behaving sonorous, malleable, and ductile. And the metals are good conductors of electricity, sir. So you can explain that point. Very important point I am going to tell you, not last and least point. Listen carefully. You are observing these are the free electrons which comes from metal atoms. So the free electrons floating in between the metal ions. When you observe a metallic element, this is the metallic element, copper metallic element, the free electrons are floating in between the metal ions. So due to that free electrons floating in between the metal ions, we can call metallic bond is. We can call metallic bond is. I have written a theory that is C of electrons. C of electronic theory. C of electrons nothing but here the electrons, negative charges are floating in between the metal ions. So that is why we are calling C of electrons theory. Metallic bonding, another name is C of electrons theory. Yeah, today's Slido, you don't have today's Slido. So tomorrow you will get Slido, my dear children. And the last update I will give you, that is not least. So you have completed the ionic bond and covalent bond and metallic bond. The last bond that is not least very familiar bond, and that is called the hydrogen bond. My dear children, very, very, very important. Hydrogen bond. What is the meaning of hydrogen bond? I am going to give you just a small introduction. After that, we will learn a full information about hydrogen bond in coming class. But the scientist name is important. Latimer. The first scientist is Latimer, and the second scientist name is Rode-Bush. Latimer and Rode-Bush explained the hydrogen bonding. So what is the meaning of hydrogen bonding? Latimer is the scientist name. Rode-Bush also is the scientist name. Both of them worked together and they have given hydrogen bonding meaning. So hydrogen bonding nothing but the hydrogen should combine with these three elements, especially I am writing on the board, that is FON. Hydrogen should combine with either fluorine or oxygen or nitrogen then we can call that is hydrogen bond. When hydrogen combine with fluorine, or when hydrogen combine with oxygen, or when hydrogen combine with nitrogen, then we can call that is hydrogen bonding. Sir, why these three elements only, sir? You may ask question. Hydrogen is electropositive atom, and fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen is electronegative atoms. What is the meaning of electropositive nature? Hydrogen available as H+1. What is the meaning of electronegative nature? Fluorine available as F-1. Oxygen available as O-2. Nitrogen available as N-3. So this is called electronegative nature. So from that you are getting a definition. A hydrogen bond is an interaction between hydrogen atom attached to an electronegative atom and an electronegative atom which possesses a lone pair of electrons. So I will give you clarity in the next class, children. Until that, you remember hydrogen should combine with either fluorine or oxygen or nitrogen. Then the bond is called hydrogen bond. I hope you got the points. Take care, children. We will meet in the next class. See you all.